Welcome to this session where we are going to discuss Autodesk Docs, right? So probably some of you might hear about this software. Some of you might have this included in some of your AEC collections. And what is going to be the most important thing is, doing a quick review of, what is Autodesk Docs, right? So basically, this is a cloud-based document management tool, right? And is designed for the AC industry, right? Pretty much what is going to help us do is centralize the collaboration aspect, right? It's going to help us to streamline workflows, and most important, is going to help us managing files from our Autodesk products, right? Either if they are coming from CAD or Revit, Navisworks, right? Mostly AC. Now, some of the key features that you're going to see popping up right here on the screen, pretty much what they are going to let us know is the kind of like comparison tools as well with traditional tools, right? Now, most of the time, we are going to be working in projects where we don't have centralized storage, right? So maybe we have multiple different folders, servers, right? We are using different softwares from different companies. We are working with third parties, and it's going to be hard to track version control. We are not going to be able to collaborate with users. We are not going to have kind of like a specific workflow, right? And at the end as well, we are going to have kind of like some issues with permissions, right? We want to make sure that all our users are going to have access to the files that we want, right? Oh, sorry about that. I'm not sure why the presentation is keep skipping. Now, when it comes to comparison with traditional tools, is that most of the time we are going to be working locally, right? The great thing about Autodesk Docs is that this is going to be cloud-based, right? Uh, and everyone is going to be able to have access to these files, even from mobile, right? Where you are going to have just access to the internet, and you can access from your cell phone or your tablet. So if at any point you have someone that is working on site, they are going to be able to access those documents, right? And create markups, annotations, and share it back to the office, right? It has a feature of automation, right? Which allows you to pretty much working on versioning. You can integrate different tools that are intended for design and as well construction, right? And some of your traditional tools are only focused to either storage or document management. Right here, remember, everything is intended for that AEC industry, right? So architecture, engineering, and construction. Last but not least, efficiency, right? Is going to help us with sharing files, reduce those possible errors when it comes to comparing file versions, right? Physical storage. Um, we are going to reduce that need of everything needs to be stored either on the email or in your local computer, right? But pretty much that is what is out of this stuff. Now, as you can see right here on that image, right? Everything is going to be centralized from the communication to the drawings to your scheduling to your checklist, right? And we are going to be able to get involved with everyone in the project. Now, to not spend too much time right here on a PowerPoint presentation, we are going to give you kind of like a quick rundown on a live demo on how to set up your project, right? And pretty much this is what you need to know when you first get into the Autodesk stuff, right? So I'm going to show you how we can create and organize your projects, right? I'm going to show you how we can manage the permissions and roles for your users, right? And I'm going to show you everything document management related and to make it easy. Alrighty, so let's jump right here to the Autodesk Docs, right? Now, first thing that you need to know, and this is really important, for you to create a project, you need to make sure that your user permissions is as an account administrator, right? So this is the first thing, and this is going to be important. who is going to be an account administrator when you go to accautodesk.com/projects, right? So either you can be the user that has a license assigned of Autodesk Docs, right? If you have the AEC collection, Docs is included with that one as well. And there are another two options where you can be assigned as an admin, and that will be with a license of BIM Collaborate Pro or a license of Autodesk Build, right? So remember, first thing that is important for us to know, only account admins can create projects. That's the first step. Now, once you're right there, what you're going to do is select the option, create project, right? You're going to get a drop-down menu, right? Another dialog box where it's going to ask you to fill in like basic information, right? Now, right here, you can start right away filling all the fields, right? But the ones that are going to be important are going to be the ones with an asterisk, right? If you do not fill those, the create project is not going to be enabled. So right here, so I'm going to call it webinar project, right? You can see right there that I can leave this empty, right? But I do recommend, and this is something that is going to be useful for future projects, is that you can use your company kind of like folder organization, right? So if you use numberings, right, this is going to help you to organize your project in an alphanumerical way. So this is important as well for the future projects and as you start building your project library. Now, next thing right here is going to be important. And the reason why is that as an account admin, you can also be invited to other accounts. So other companies, third-party companies where you're working with them. So maybe they invite you as well as an account admin. Right here, you can make sure that you're part of your company, right? So that is another obligatory field right there. And last but not least, for organization purposes, you can select a project type, right? So either if it's going to be institutional, right? If it's going to be commercial, if it's going to be part of the industrial and energy, and as well infrastructure. There's an option as well that is can be considered kind of like a test or sample projects. So for example, right here, demonstration project, you can define your project as it is. Now notice with those three fields, now I'm going to be able to create the project, but as well as you progress to your project creation, you can create a template. So that way, every time that you create a project is going to have that organization. If you need to go a little bit further, adding the project address, you can add it as well to apply a time zone, a start and end of the project, a project value. Now, all these fields that you can see right here available are going to help you when it comes to project insights, right? So gathering data and quickly understand how your project is going from, let's say, the design phase to the construction phase, right? Even to a point where you can use this information for the operations of your building. So right there, just create the project, right? This should take a second, but right away, what you're going to see is this screen right here. So pretty much what you have is an access to the project overview. You can consider this the project admin area, right? At the top left, what you need to know is access to the project services, right? So you can go back as well to your account admin. At the top is your current projects. So if I click right here, you're going to see that I'm going to be able to see all the projects from my account, right? And then right here at the left side, we have a bar for quick access. And this is kind of like the area where we are going to be able to start adding our members. One important thing that I mentioned. A couple of minutes ago, I said, you as the account admin can create projects, but once you have created the project, you can start adding the members. And part of being a member is that now you have the consideration as a project administrator, right? Or as a project team member. The difference between those two is the access that you're going to have to your project permission. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to add one member right here. Once I click right there in the add project members, a key aspect that you need to have in mind is that right here I can type an email. So I'm going to add one of my colleagues. So right here I select her, right? You need to make sure that it's highlighted in gray. And once it's highlighted in gray, you can hit enter. It's going to be the same if I manually type in the email of a colleague. Sorry about that. So right here, this is where it's going to be key. You need to remember that needs to be grayed out. So once you type in the email in your keyboard, tap the enter key. Now it's highlighted in gray. Once those emails have been highlighted, you can click enter. Another thing that you can do is copy and paste an email, right? Then hit enter, right? Now, once you hit enter right there, the software allows you to add, for example, basic permissions, right? Such as define the company from the user, right? The roles of those users. Now, by default, the account of these members might have select an option, right? But you can always switch it, right? So for example, it's going to be an architect or a civil engineer. So all these settings that you enable pretty much define the role, and later this can help you to customize which folders they are going to have access to, right? Now, as well, from this tab right here, you can define if this is going to be a project administrator, meaning that they are going to have access to everything, or just as a member, right? Last but not least, you can verify which license they have access to. By default, you need to make sure that these two members that you are inviting have access to Autodesk Docs, right? But later as well, you can include a little bit more services or products that are intended for collaboration in the cloud using Revit or doing coordination for those construction projects, right? By default, it's going to be Docs and Insight. Once you have this set up, you can just simply send the invitations to your users. Alrighty? Now, right here at the top right, you can see a notification that is going to tell you, okay, wait a couple of minutes to verify that those members have access. Now, you can always do a quick refresh of your web browser. The recommendation is going to be either Google Chrome or a Chromium browser, right, such as Edge. But any of those two should allow you to quickly access ACC for your project. Now, I want you to notice the following. Some of the members that I add may have some products enabled, right? So even if you're the project administrator, you need to make sure that you enable the product for you. That way, you're going to be able to see the folders. This is a fairly common issue between users and members when they are new right here in the ACC and Docs when it comes to creating the projects. They forget to add the products to the project admins, or they forget to add the products to some of their users. Alrighty, so this is the first thing. Now that I invite the users, I can go right here to the top left to the services, and Docs is going to be enabled. Now, let me show you once again, if on my end, Docs is turned off, right? I'm going to do a quick refresh right here at the top left. On the services, I'm not going to have access to Docs. So that is really important. So remember that you always need to know this about the permissions. Let me refresh it. Now, notice right here, it's not visible. You can do a quick refresh, or it's going to take a second. Now you can access to Docs. So that is really important when it comes to the permissions. Now, right here, when it comes to the Docs service, right? This is the area where we are going to have our folders. This is the area where we are going to add our members. By default, you're going to have this view, right? With access to files and some other tools. But right here, what is going to be important, the first thing that you can do is start adding subfolders, right? So for example, an architectural folder, you're going to click on those three dots, add subfolder. Let's call it, let's say that right here I have a mechanical folder, right? Those three dots are going to be key because remember, we are working on a web browser, right? If you right click, what it's going to give you is the options of the web browser. You need to look for those three dots to have quick access. And last but not least, right here, something additional to the document management when you are creating your folders is going to be the permissions for your members. So we want guarantee that we invite them, right? So I have right here my 2 members or 3 members, right? But on the files, now I need to make sure that they are going to have access. How I can see if they have access? Well, you can click on top of the folder, then you can click the 3 dots and look for the permission settings. Now, let me move this to the left and let me move this a little bit to the right. You can see that currently on this folder, I'm the only user with access, right? So this is something else that you need to know. You need to make sure that you add your members and you have 2 options. You can either type in manually their names, right? Or you can type in the company. So for example, if I type in micro, short for microcat, I'm going to be able to select the whole company. Now, all the members from that company are going to have the following permissions. So you can decide if they can only see and view the files, they can view and download. So right here, when it comes to managing your documents, right? It's really easy to quickly identify if I have a consultant that is temporarily on the project, they only need to view and download, right? Whether if I have a consultant or a team member that is going to be fully involved with the project and they need full administrative controls, or the next one, which is going to be view plus download plus adding markups plus upload plus edit. So right there, you can select that option and then add, right? Now, when it comes to document management, you can verify that people that are part from this company now are going to have access. Remember, you can do it by a user, right? Or a full company. You just need to manually type in the names. Alrighty? Now, these are kind of like the elements that you need to know when you're starting Autodesk Docs project, right? Now, something else that I want to add right here. A frequent issue that you're going to find is that we are not able kind of like to share files with people that are outside of our company, or they have not a license for Autodesk Docs. Now, something that you can do if you like to share some of the files, right? If you like to just send a link that way they can access, is that you can go right here to the top right where it says settings. Then you can select the option advanced settings, right? And on the advanced settings, there's a feature that you need to turn on, right? Why is going to be important to turn on that feature? Because you're going to enable your project members to publish, right, with people that are outside of the company, meaning that you can share temporary links, right? So let me turn that on. And you can define as well the dates in which those links are going to be enabled. So for example, I can share a folder and I'm going to say you have 30 days to view that link, right? Or you have a whole year to view that link. And that is going to be a nice option to share files with people outside from your company. But basically, those are going to be the key features that you need to know when you're starting with Autodesk Docs. And as well, something that later we can do is help you. How we can help you with this. So we are going to assist you when it comes to uploading and organizing your files, right? Kind of like understanding your version controls. And what is going to be kind of like the most important thing is going to be the tool integrations that you have with your Revit, with your AutoCAD, your PDF files, Office documents, right? Because now you're managing data and information from your company as well as exterior companies, right? And this is going to be kind of like the key aspect of using Docs as that cloud-based tool that is going to allow you to centralize all your documents and streamline your workflows and provide collaboration for your teams. Alrighty. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Let me know if you have any questions.